Hey, how's it going out there, YouTube land? I'm gonna go over a few things. People ask me questions about what do I do when I'm on the river looking for smallmouth. Well, I like to do is, this year I started doing a kayaking. I bought a nice kayak. It's a fishing kayak. It's a sit on top. This style, your feet don't go inside the kayak. That's why it's called a sit on top. But this has rod holders, storage compartments, areas that you can bungee strap your stuff down and keep your stuff tight and where it needs to be at. First of all, you want to do is get a flotation device, which I got this kayak life jacket. It's called made from Onyx. So I use this. This has more opening here, so when you're paddling, you're not getting a rubbing or a chafing on your armpits. A waterproof bag. This style here is I keep my big camera in here, and other stuff like extra masks, stuff like that, to keep the sun off of me. So you might want to get invest in some of these. I go through MC Pro Jersey, which you can find him on Facebook. Awesome guy. He's out of Brazil, but his name is Marcio Curie. Look him up. Look him up on Facebook. He's an excellent guy, and he does super quality work. And I also have a jersey, which is very lightweight, breathable. It's actually keeps it pretty cool. So if you are out on a real hot date, you can on a hot day, hot day, maybe on a hot date. But you can take this off, dunk it in the water, put it on. You'll stay nice and cool. Plus, it dries real fast. It's very lightweight. Another cool thing is people saying, well, why are you wearing that jersey? You're not a tournament fisherman and this and that. Well, the thing is you're a walking billboard. This is your products that you're using, the products that you're promoting, and this is the reason why I do this. I only promote products that works for me. So that's the reason why I purchase the products, I use the products, and then I'll contact the company and see if they're doing any staff work. And if they are, I'll be more than welcome to staff their products because I trust in their products. I don't just use products because I'm staffing or I'm looking for staff. I don't do that. I'm not a tournament fisherman. I do help out some guys that do tournament fishing. I'll hop in the boat with them and help them win some money. But other than that I'm not a tournament fisherman. I don't really care to be a tournament fisherman. I enjoy fishing and doing videos. But let's go back to the kayak for river smallmouth. You need a good paddle. This has an aftermarket seat, which I put on there. The seat that came with it sits down in a gully, and I don't like that. It made my legs fall asleep, which pinches on your hips areas, and my knees would fall asleep, my feet would fall asleep, even within first 15-20 minutes in the kayak. So I got an aftermarket seat, which me and my buddy put some aluminum rails on here, which the holes that the old seat came out of was already there, so we just measured that up there. I bought a seat, which was about $40 on Amazon, and it has padding on it, and it also folds up. So that is my way of having a comfortable kayak. A lot of people think you're just going to get in a kayak and get on the water and start paddling. It doesn't work that way. You want to get a kayak, and before you go out on the river, you want to go in somebody's built-in pool or down in a pond somewhere. So try that out first. If you're into fishing with kayak fishing, you want to use a sit on top style. It has rod holders. This one has 3. This one has a removable one over here. And also another thing is this milk crate here. I put this on here for storage, so I can easily access my stuff. So I put bottles of water in there. I'll put my tackle in there. A lot of other different things, extra line. Another thing that you're really going to need is a head net for mosquitoes or no-see-ums. Especially if you live in Florida or Texas area, these no-see-ums, they'll drive you insane. So on that type of year, if it's a bad year, or even the love bugs and stuff like that they call them, or big mosquitoes, just at least have one in your kayak in case you do come across that. Pliers. You don't know it's pliers. This is an all-in-one tool. It has a knife, file, screwdrivers, anything like that. But I like to have this as if, you know, my equipment does malfunction, at least I know I have a multi-tool here. But the main thing is I use this for is getting the hook out of the fish. And I use this Rapala, and it has, I use these little hooks for, and I just attach them to my kayak, so they're accessed right there. If it does fall into the water, at least it's still hooked up. I don't lose my equipment. This has a hook sharpener on it, clippers, and this is a punch hole. If you have jig heads that have painted heads, and the hole where the eye is on the hook, you can just punch that right out. So that's good to have also. Lure containers. If you have your tackle box in the back, but you know you're throwing a lot of topwater baits, if you're throwing different styles, they'll be ready and accessible right up front in your kayak. So you just pop them right open and you're ready to go, which is another hook on there, so you can just easy access. Cell phones. If you're taking cell phones out there, a lot of people like to take pictures right out in the water of their catch, which is great, but you don't want to lose your phone. These things float. You can also do the same thing with this, put a hook on there, or some people like to use a Ziploc bag. You can also do that. They even have little thinner ones, and then with a hook already with it, so you can attach it right to your bungee strap on your kayak. All right, my favorite type of lure to use on the rivers is a topwater. I love the topwater baits for smallmouth. This one here is a skitter pop from Rapala. This has a beveled front. It's has a popping style, but also it comes down more, so it's more of a subtle pop, and that's what you want for smallmouth. Smallmouth are different than the largemouth. Largemouth likes that bigger splash and more of a sound of a splash to it. With smallmouth, you want a subtle, just pull it, just a subtle little, and then it makes a little wake. But this one here has almost like a walk the dog style in the back. So when you're pulling it, it'll pull a bit more, it'll dig down a little bit, which is great. The skitter pop from Rapala is an awesome bait. This one here is one of my favorites, is the chug bug. Storm makes the chug bug, which you've seen on a few of my other videos, how they key on this bait like crazy. It has a different style. It's almost like a pop-R and a walk the dog type of style. But that is an awesome bait to use. And then I'll use a spinner bait every now and then. It all depends on how the sun's looking, or if it's overcast. I like the white especially, or a chartreuse. Then we have the soft baits, which of course is a Storm 360. This is a search bait. This bait right here is my go-to bait. Any type of fishing. If I want to know what the fish are doing or how active they are, I'm going to throw this. You'll cover a lot of water with this. It's a weighted head, and the body slips on there, and it's cut out just for that head. So it's soft and it's very durable. So use this bait when you're doing searching for fish and see what they're keying in on. All types of craws out there. There's all types of markers for craws. These are great for if you have a VMC style hook, which I have some here, which is a 3/0 style, and it has the corkscrew style. You could screw the bait into that screw, and then weedless style. These hooks here have the weights on them. They're built right on the hook. But VMC hooks are very, very sharp. I've come across a lot of boaters, gravels, rock. They stay sharp for days, weeks. All depends on how much fishing you're doing, but that's why you have the Rapala. If you need to sharpen your hook, sharpen your hook. Sharp hooks is key for getting them fishing. You can use jigs, smaller style jigs. There's a lot of different jig makers out there. You have the swim style, you have the punch jigs. There's just all different types of styles, but if you're going to use on the river, the smaller style jigs, just swim jigs will be perfect. You could use tube baits, weedless tube baits, and you can use the VMC wide gap worm hooks. This is a 2/0. I love to use these with the Z-Man. These come in different colors. The Z-Man baits with just a hook. So I'll tie that on there, I'll punch it through, and then just the tip of the hook comes through the lure. So try that out. They have different styles or colors. This is a different color here if you want a more of a natural color. This is the bubble gum here. I have the PB&J. Just try different colors and see what the fish are after. Also plugs for your kayak. If you want to plug in your kayak, there's a lot of them have 4 portholes, which water will come up, but it also releases the water. So the weight of your body is inside the kayak. The water is going to be in there, which is not a big deal. You're going to get wet on a kayak. If you're getting in and out of it, the water on your legs or on your clothes, it's going to go right inside your kayak anyway. I prefer not to use the plugs. But like I said, when you get out of the kayak, you will the water will drain out. And now let's go over with the rods and reels here. When I'm throwing topwater, I love to use the bait caster. This here is the Accurus PT from Quantum. What I like about this one, it is a 7:1 gear ratio. It also has a flip switch here, and this sits on a graphics rod from Quantum also. This is a medium heavy action, which I like to have. That is smallmouth are very strong fish. You know, some people they like that fight. They want to use an ultralight or medium action, and that's fine and dandy. But when I got a heavy bass on there, I want to get them in. I want to get my hands on them. Another PT Cruiser, PT Energy, which is, they should have called it the Cruiser, because this thing is so smooth. It is very smooth. This has a 7:1 gear ratio. You have the up to 10 magneto on here, and always check your the weight. So when you hit your button here, and if it falls pretty good, not real fast, but you don't want it to go slow, start adjusting your magnet on the side here. So that helps out. And this the Energy here is, I have it sitting on the Octane, Quantum Octane. This is a medium heavy action rod also. What I like about this one, it has a thinner barrel down in this way. This is a 6'6" one-piece rod, and just, I don't know what it is with these setups. Their equipment is just so awesome. I love how smooth their reels are, and I love how their hook sets are on the rods. And the last thing I want to go over before we head out tomorrow is TUF-LINE. You gotta have a braided line. I've done many times with the monofilaments. This is the Dominate from TUF-LINE. This is the 30-pound test. I like the 30-pound test. Anytime I'm fishing the pads for largemouth, anytime I'm fishing the rivers, I like that abrasiveness. It to me is a rejector. It rejects the abrasiveness of a boulder, a rock, a lily pad. This should have been you know, the abrasive fighter, but it's Dominate. Great name, great company, TUF-LINE. So check, you know, different products out that you use or that you're comfortable with. Not saying that the stuff that I've used is going to work for you, but use what you're comfortable with. Not just, like I said, is going out there looking for a sponsorship and thinking they're just going to send you a product. It doesn't work that way. You have to put in time, and you got to hustle, and you got to show that you are the type of person that's going to be able to promote the products that for your fishing. So if they send you a box full of lures, it's not going to do you any good if it's just sitting there because you don't like using them. So like I said, I won't never use a bait that I don't like. If it doesn't produce for me, I'm not going to use it. Now there's a lot of times as I've bought lures and tried them and they fall apart, stuff like that. That's the reason why I like Rapala, because VMC hooks are top notch. They are. They're on all their topwater baits. They're on their crankbaits. They're, you know, and all different types of baits that they have. Rapala uses the VMC hooks, which to me is the best hook out there. And your rods and reels. I've been using Quantum for over 20 years. That's the reason why I like them, because they're durable, they're strong, and they do what I need them to do. It puts me on fish. And also, I want to go over this. This is the Hellcat from Quantum. This is the combo. This is the spinning rod here. which is I love to throw the Z-Man styles on there. I like to throw tube baits. On the river, I usually use just the hook itself for the weight. I like to throw it up past the current, let it float down. And when you do that, is more of a natural act, because that's what the bass are doing. The bass are facing into the current and they're waiting for things to flow by. It's either they're facing directly at the current, behind the boulder, or log, or high grass, or they're going to be sitting sideways, waiting for something to float by. So that's what you got to pay attention to. Don't just throw right next to that boulder. Throw past it. Don't throw right at that eddy. Throw past the current, let it float into the eddy. And I'll guarantee you, you're going to have a lot more hookups and a lot bigger fish. So when you're keying in on bigger smallmouth bass in the river, use a bait that's they're looking for. So if they're feeding on crawfish, go with the crawfish style. If they're on the chase and they're just chasing anything to feed up before wintertime, go with that 360 search bait. Awesome bait. And then of course the topwater action, which is my favorite. I love it when they blast out of the water. So look for a kayak that's going to be comfortable for you. Modify it if you have to. And then look for your equipment that's going to do the job for you. Like I said, is if you're going to video your stuff, video it, use your GoPros. Make sure you got water bags for your big cameras and a good tripod that's not going to tip over. I like to use a tripod that the legs spread completely out, so I know it's stable when I'm in the shallower waters. So you guys just stay with me, and I hope you guys enjoy, and I hope you guys have a blast. Be safe.